Hello, and welcome to the Cultivating Confidence podcast. I am your host, Dr. Nicole Grams. I am a life coach who specializes in anxiety, health, and human design. And I also happen to be a functional medicine pharmacist. This podcast is a compilation of conversations that I've had with clients and colleagues. So listen in as we explore the mind, body, and soul's confidence in its many forms. On today's Unscripted, I have a very special guest. Her name is Dr. Katie Johnstone, and she is an amazing functional medicine pharmacist based in Maine. I hope you enjoy this special episode where we dive right into the relationship you have with your past and future selves, and we talk about holding space for negativity and so much more. All right, Katie, what's on your mind today?
Oh, I was thinking about future self and younger self.
Ooh.
Like your younger self, what would my 10-year-old, what would 10-year-old Katie pointed that I'm not doing now?
Uh-huh.
Like what would she, and I have a list of things. And then future self, looking back on current self, what would she be disappointed that I'm not doing?
Whoa. Okay, so let me just note that both of those things were pretty negative right off the bat. Why not look at what past self and future self are proud of you for right now? Because when I think about my past self and I think about where I'm at right now, I would be absolutely friggin' blown away with what my life looks like now compared to what I thought it would look like.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So which one is more inspiring for you? Like, is it more helpful to think about what you're doing wrong, or like maybe celebrate yourself
about the disappointments or about what I'm proud of myself for?
Yeah.
And it's like where we are, I've heard it before, where we're Velcro to negative things and Teflon to positive things. And that's like so true. So yeah. And I am the kind of person that I always think of myself as super positive, but then I'm always leaning towards negative things.
And that's, I feel like that's the funny thing. I also thought I was super, super positive for most of my life. And then when I started going through coaching and reading self-improvement, self-development things, I had this dawning realization one day of, oh my God, I'm the problem.
It's me.
Like, it's me. It's coming from within the building. Like the phone calls coming from within.
So true. It's so true.
Yeah.
And I'm very grateful for that, because it does make you kind of just notice it and go, okay, well, what do I do with that? You know, and don't try to push it away, because maybe that's what I would have tried to do before if I caught myself being negative, is being, oh, just no, ignore that.
Right.
And push it away rather than sitting with it and having the feeling and feeling okay with the feeling and realizing that it's okay to have negative emotions.
Yep.
They are part of life.
I would encourage experiencing them.
Let's do it. Like, it's okay, because they make the good emotions have something to compare to. If you're trying to be happy all the time,
right,
pushing down all the negative thoughts, then you have nothing to compare it to.
Right. Well, and I feel like no matter what, life is going to be 50-50. Half of it's going to be on the positive end, half of it's going to be in the negative end.
And it just it just opens it up, like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Half of my life is going to be negative.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Right. And it's the resistance to the negative that can, how I've explained it in the past to people is like, yes, it's 50-50, but if you're focusing on not feeling the negative 50, you're going to be skewed towards the negative.
Yeah.
Because if you think you're only supposed to feel positive things, that's where you get like, oh, well, I'm not feeling I'm not feeling 90% right now. If 100 is like the happiest you could ever feel and 0 is like the deepest depths of depression, right? Like if you're thinking, oh my gosh, because I'm not feeling 80 or 90%, like something's wrong with me, then you're just pulling yourself into more negative. You're going to spend more time at the 20, 30, 40% mark. And
think you
yeah,
have a chemical imbalance.
right,
Like,
right.
maybe not.
Yeah. Well, and chemical imbalances are part of it for sure. It
Yeah.
can be, but like it's definitely not. Yeah, that's not specifically what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's fascinating though. And that, it took me 37 years to realize that,
Right.
and so sometimes I think, in the deepest, darkest moments of my life, how much stronger I am because of those times,
Mhm.
like, um, losing my dad at a relatively young age, like
Mhm.
26, has made me be able to help people who, well, maybe not just help them, but just let them sit with their loss, if
Mhm.
they've had a loss of a parent or a close,
Right.
because I think so many times people don't really know what to say when somebody loses somebody. And,
Yeah.
I kind of just am like, yeah, that sucks.
This is the part that sucks.
This
Yeah.
is, and so it's like that hard part is part of me. And
Mhm.
as much as it was terrible and awful and the worst day of my life, um, it was a big part of who I am now.
Yeah. And going through that grief process, I mean, it's different for everybody, but it it's not something that you can just like I feel like so many people want to go jump in and try to fix it or try to like
Yeah.
pull you out of the negative. And
Mhm.
I think that's a great thing that you brought up of the like basically holding space for people to be feeling negative emotions because so many people swoop in wanting to fix it, wanting to cheer you up. Oh, like think
What can
about
I
how
do?
great everything
What can I do? What
was.
can I do? Yeah.
Let's celebrate the life that he had, or, whatever version of that.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, yeah, I don't want to feel happy right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So just allow me to feel like crap and feel grief and feel sadness and feel despair and
Yeah.
all of these things.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yep. And it sucks.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I will say, like, having gone through my grandma's death over half a year ago now, um, that me having the awareness of what was going on in my own emotions made the process so much easier for me,
Mm.
where like I've never grieved anything with this level of awareness before. And
Mm.
it was just kind of like, no, this is the part where I feel sad. And I literally would say that to myself in the middle of my work day or, in the middle of the grocery store, wherever the feeling hit, it was just like, I just get to feel sad right now.
Yeah. Yep.
Mm. And then be proud of ourselves for allowing ourselves to holding space for ourselves to have all these
Yeah.
emotions and be human.
And then it translates into helping other people because you can sit with yourself
Mhm.
with those emotions. I mean, I feel like we bring our phones to the bathroom with us. Like we can't sit with ourselves
Right.
for more than 2 minutes. We can't even pee without looking at what the world is doing.
Right.
And so being able to just sit with yourself and be comfortable with yourself.
Mhm.
I mean, I think we've come a long way in today's world with technology and everything, but man, it doesn't make for a nice time with yourself and
No.
just sitting with your thoughts.
Right. Well, yeah. And so many of my clients have had issues like they don't want to spend time with themselves if nobody else is in the house, if their spouse is away, if they're, whatever. It's so hard to spend time with yourself when you're not kind to yourself,
Right.
when you're worried about, like, I mean, I can see it in my own past of the like, I'm just going to sit here and criticize myself all day. So what do I want to do that for? I would much rather be scrolling. I would much rather be eating or talking to somebody or, like,
Yep.
ugh,
Ugh.
ugh. Yeah, exactly.
Because I also like am that person. So,
Hmm.
no judgment here. Like I
Right.
put my phone everywhere. I'm
Right.
constantly doing the just check. Just check, just check, just check Instagram, just check email, just check
Yeah.
this. And sometimes just like put the phone away,
Hmm.
put it on airplane mode, go sit down, go sit in the sun.
Yeah. I turned off all my notifications for social media things.
Oh, good.
And it's like, so I'll only open them when I actually think to do it on my own
Yeah.
versus seeing notifications and compulsively checking them. It's been very freeing. Like anybody trying to contact me on Facebook can wait, half a day if I don't think about looking.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was one of the best ideas I've had for myself. Now I got to figure out how to turn off email notifications.
I know. I can't stand the little like red
Yeah.
numbers, like type A. I'm just
Yeah.
so
Got
I
to
just
get rid of them. Right.
can't. I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
So I want to bring it back to the future self, past self stuff that we started out with.
yeah.
So looking at it through the lens of like, what would 10-year-old you be proud of right now?
Oof. I have come so far and been able to transform like so many different parts of my life,
Yeah.
physically, mentally, even in my career, just being a pharmacist. I think, 10-year-old Katie would look and say, oh my God, she's a pharmacist. She has doctor in front of her name. She can wear the white coat.
Hmm.
Um, but then, I'm also moving towards health and wellness and helping people get off of their medications potentially, and not rely so much on them. And um, so yeah, I think she would be also proud of that, for kind of stepping out of the mold,
Mm.
and being different, um,
Being brave.
being brave, being vulnerable.
Yeah.
And we're working on that and doing scary things, you know. Um, yeah, I think she
Yeah.
was.
Awesome. So I'm just going to make an observation that even that little bit was probably hard for you to say out loud.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah. Like it's impossible sometimes, like if you're not used to doing this sort of work, to be like, yeah, look at how great I am.
yeah.
Because
I
we're
have to,
so
I
used.
have to type it out and put it on my vision board. Like, look at all the things you've done. Read that every day.
Yeah.
You do
Remind
good,
yourself.
you know? Because,
Right.
yeah, how easy is it to fire off all the things that I need to do? And
Yeah. And the ways that you're deficient.
that is like front of brain ready to go. Like bang, 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 bang.
Hmm.
The other stuff, it's like, oh yeah, let's let's give you some props there. You're doing good.
Yeah.
You're doing good at this thing called life that nobody knows what they're doing at.
No, none of us know what we're doing.
A lot of books.
The,
There are
the
lots of
the myth of being an adult. So you get some things figured out, but you're just completely clueless about most of it.
especially if you were a Disney kid.
Oh,
I just thought animals were gonna help me, and there was gonna be a horse involved.
yeah. There's going to be a knight in shining armor for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I do have animals involved, so I guess
Yeah.
it's partially true.
Right. Yeah, nobody's going to come save you, and like honestly, like one of the best realizations I think I've had was more to the effect of like nobody's going to save you. Like it's up to you. And it's a big like you can take it as a big slap in the face of the like damsel in distress. Nobody's ever going to save me and I'm going to stay here forever in my pit of despair. Or like you can look at it as that's the best news ever because I don't have to wait on anybody else to do anything in order for me to change my life and for me to really stand up and for me to take control of what's happening in my situation.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Like you have the authority over your life.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what is awesome and what also sucks.
Yes.
Because there's not going to be a perfect time.
Yeah. And
Things
it,
that you want to do that you have to do, like nobody's going to come in and be like, okay, now's the time to change your career. Now's the
right.
time to get that, get out of
Yeah.
that relationship
Yeah.
or change your body or change your diet. Like it's not going to be comfortable,
No.
no.
And there might be people, there might be people pressuring you to get married and have babies and all these things. But like, if that's not what you actually want to do, mm,
You don't got to do it, right?
yeah. And I put my own pressure on myself to like, okay, in 10th grade, I had my whole life planned out. Like, okay, I'm going to go to pharmacy school and I'm going to have a hot husband and then we're going to have some cute babies and we're going to, like, by the time I'm 25, right?
Yeah.
Like, for sure, this is how my life is going to work. But and then I'll just be able to coast for the rest of my life in this career that I have that's so wonderful and fulfilling. And then you get to it and it's like, all right, where's the happiness?
Where'd that happiness go?
When's that part coming
I
in?
pay for.
Right. Yeah, I think that's another big lesson that I've had of the like, if you don't practice feeling happy on the way to your goal, you're not going to be happy when you get there.
Boom.
Yeah. And like,
That's
I feel
right
like this as an example for people trying to lose weight
there.
is an easy example to understand, but applies to so many different layers of your life where it's like, okay, when I lose 50 pounds or whatever it is, like, I'm going to be so happy. I'm going to be proud of myself. I'm going to be, all these things. And then it's like, okay, you'll be that for about 20 minutes. And then you'll go, if you haven't practiced being that, you're going to go right back to self criticism and, oh my God, I hope I don't mess this up. I hope I don't, like I got to stay worried about this the whole time. Otherwise, I'm going to gain it all back like I have 20 times before.
And this is like so true
Yeah.
because how often is it? I just want to lose 20 pounds. I just want to get back to my college weight.
Yeah.
Then what?
Yeah.
Right. Like, but
Then I'll
why?
be happy.
Right. So what will that weight bring you? Like, how do you want to feel? And I literally just did this with myself, like with my coach.
Mhm.
Um, I want to lose 10 pounds. And then I'm like, all right, Katie, rewind. Why? Like, what
Mhm.
will that mean to you when you get there? When that certain, number happens? Like, how do you want to feel when you get there? I want to feel proud. I want to feel like I can do what I put my mind to. I want to feel like I keep the promises I make to myself. And, that's how I want to feel in that moment. And so I'm going to feel that now. I'm going to feel proud of myself now at my current, situation, size, weight, whatever, and
Mhm.
then continue that on because that's what gets you through
Mhm.
the moments.
Right.
Being in a certain size jeans isn't what's going to help say no to the chips and the salsa at the Mexican place because
No,
they're going to feel
because they're so freaking good.
hey,
Right.
you do not just have 8 chips, okay? Who has 8 chips?
Yeah. I'll stop when the basket's done.
Bro, bring out another bowl. We need
Yeah.
more.
I still have some salsa left. Like this needs to get eaten. It's so tasty.
Refill that up.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and the thing is like if you wait until you have accomplished your goal to be happy, like you're just wasting your life not
Mhm.
being happy when you could choose that because happiness is an emotion that you feel. It's not a state that you reach,
Yeah.
right?
How many
And like
millionaires are there that are miserable?
so many. There's people of every income level that think, oh, when I get to X, whatever, when I get this level of success, when I accomplish this thing,
Mhm.
that's when I'll be happy. And that's how you get people going out there and getting 75 different degrees and like endless pursuit of certifications.
So many certifications.
Right?
Need to learn more.
Yeah.
I just need to have more initials after my name. I just
Yeah.
need more quizzes and tests.
Personality tests, and like then I'll figure
And
out
I'm
why
hiding
I am the
behind
way
my
I am.
laptop,
Yeah.
on social media, like instead of putting myself out there into the community,
Yeah. Yeah.
literally.
And it all stems from this like, well, I'm not good enough as is. Mm.
Mm.
Like, what would happen if you believed that you were, right? Like, how would that change life for like literally every human on the planet
Yeah.
to just believe like I'm worthy of
Just
love?
sub- just substituting a thought.
Right.
Just sub it out.
Yeah.
You can
And sometimes it's as easy as like, oh, I'm going to think this now. And a lot of times it's very much not, because we've all been conditioned for so many years to just beat the crap out of ourselves
yeah.
over and over every day. And we are the only ones
Smile
that we
on our
can't
faces.
escape. We're just our own bullies that just keep going on forever.
Yep. We would never talk to our friends and daughters the way that we talk to ourselves.
Yeah.
Like imagine if you could talk to yourself like you talk to your daughter
Yeah.
or your best
Imagine if you could talk to your future self or your past self like that. Like a lot of us, from a different perspective of looking back on past self, like I think there's a good, trying to think of how to say this. Um, like it's easy to slip into, oh, well, I didn't do good enough. I didn't do well enough, whatever the word is supposed to be there, but I was inadequate in so many ways. And we can look at our past selves and see all of that. Or we can look at past self and say, look at all the crap that she went through or he went through or they went through that got me to where I am today.
Mm.
And I am damn proud of past self for going through all that, even when I didn't feel like I was enough.
Yeah.
And we can look at ourselves present day through that lens from future self.
Yeah.
Like right now, if I wasn't busy being hard on myself, what would I be doing?
Yeah.
If it wasn't a problem that I, insert whatever here.
If I didn't have to be perfect at everything, what would I be doing?
Yeah.
If I didn't have to plan and prepare and rehearse. You don't think I didn't write notes for this podcast? And then I was like,
I specifically told you not to.
Told me to bring a blank sheet of paper.
Yeah. Yeah, the second page is blank.
Those are the notes.
Yeah, I specifically said we don't need to prepare anything.
And yeah, I want to be good at everything. I want to be good at work. I want to be good at friendships. I want to be good at relationship. I want to be good at dog training. I want to be good at everything. But then it's like, I'll just need to watch one more webinar. I just need to do one more thing. I just need to, show up for everybody. I need to answer every single message that somebody sends me immediately, even if it means interrupting a current conversation that I'm having. And then, it's like you want to be good at everything and then you're good at nothing.
Yep. Because it's so much pressure, and then you get overwhelmed, and then you sit there and you're like, oh, I can't do any of this stuff. So then you don't take action on any of it. Right.
Instead of like,
just thanks, brain.
Breaking it down. Yeah. Like baby steps, right? Like, what is one thing I can do today? 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 1 minute. What's one thing? That's it. And just focus on that and not try to plan and rehearse everything in my life, because then it sets me up for disappointment every time. Yeah.
I have a friend of mine who recently, we were talking about something that she was super stressed out about, super worried about. And I was like, well, I don't know. I just, whatever, like, don't care, or something like that. I don't remember specifically what it was about, and she looked me dead in the eye and she's like, what's it like to just not care like that? I'm like, pretty friggin' liberating. I don't know. I feel so much better. Like, it's kind of the best. And it's not that I don't care about anything. It's just that, like, when it comes to people judging me, people thinking something about me, like me feeling like I'm in at like being my own bully, like if I just stop believing all of that and stop believing that that's the important part of life, like that's when my life got so much better. Cause I
Yeah.
was like, what if I just did what I want to do? What
Yeah.
does that even mean? I didn't even know for a while. And then it was like, oh, when I give myself the space to find out,
Yeah.
a lot of things happened.
A lot of freedom.
Yeah. And then I started taking steps towards doing all these things and opportunities presented themselves. And I was blown away at how far I've been able to and obviously through the whole process, the last couple of years that I've been working on being a coach, working on being a functional medicine provider, all these things, I have so much doubt and fear and anxiety and worry along the way. But also when I do take that perspective of like, what would even 25-year-old me be thinking about what I'm doing right now? Like, she'd be pretty freaking impressed. Like, she had no idea any of this was coming. Dang, self, like, you're doing
Dang.
good.
Look at you go.
Yeah. Mm-mm-mm-mm.
I should just get a little tattoo that's like future self right here. So I just look at it and I'm like, she's going to be proud, because the other thing is like, I don't want to spend too much time in the future and in the past.
Right.
That's like worry and anxiety.
Right.
And it's like, let's be proud of ourselves as we are right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how can we do that? Because that's where the gold is.
Yeah.
And just
Yeah.
finding little things, even if it's like, just if it's about your body, just like today I woke up and I walked around. Like, I was able to do laundry or something. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, something so minute. You didn't run a marathon.
Right.
You didn't throw ropes around at the gym, and that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm capable today. I'm proud of myself today.
Yeah. What can I do today? I like that.
Yeah.
And like, you can apply it in many different ways of the like, what can I do to reach this goal that feels super overwhelming right now?
Mm.
What can I do today? And sometimes that's like taking a nap because you're exhausted, you didn't sleep well, and you happen to have an extra hour in the middle of the day. Like, okay,
Yeah.
take care of yourself today. And that will get you towards your goal, because if you're running yourself ragged and you're not taking care of yourself, that's going to make it even harder to actually achieve most of the goals that we have set for ourselves.
Right. Your body is keeping score.
Right.
So if you're running around, go, 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 taking care of everybody else, your cup is literally emptying, and it will be totally empty, and then you won't have anywhere to pour from.
Mm-hmm.
Can't be
Yeah,
filling everybody else's cup if yours is empty.
pretty much. Yeah. And it feels so selfish to do that sometimes.
It does.
And that's another one of those things where I was like, well, I just don't care about that. Like, I don't have to believe that.
Mm.
I don't have to believe that it's like, I literally just got back from a massage. I was running late to our call right now because I still have greasy massage hair and I'm feeling wonderful. Right. But I immediately went into oh my gosh, I'm not going to be back in time to start the,
Yeah.
so Brina obviously had to have a say about how I was being inadequate. And I just texted you. I'm like, all right, well, I'm running a couple minutes late. And then I didn't think again about it because I'm like, this is just what I have right now.
Yep.
I cannot control traffic. I got a little too chatty at the reception desk. Like,
yep. And that's okay.
We're just going to do this when we can. And it is only going to cause me suffering if I sit here and worry about it.
Yeah. Yep.
There's freedom.
I heard something yesterday that it just was like, wow, that is dynamite. Looking at, like, this is again from like the body perspective,
Mhm.
and the future self, past self, like looking at a picture of an event or something that you went to like 5 years ago, 3 years ago, and thinking about in that moment, what was I insecure about?
Mm.
Like, oh, my arms look fat, or my
Mhm.
I'm not sucking in enough, or oh, those pants are ugly. And like what I wasn't being present in that moment because I was worried about like what I looked like, and
Yeah.
what immediately checking the picture after it's taken, and
Right.
you have to delete that. So, I
Right.
didn't look perfect. And instead of being there and being like, wow, that was such a like amazing opportunity, or
Mhm.
I was with, a friend that lives far away, for her wedding or for her bachelorette party, or like I was with like a friend's dad who, I don't get to see a lot of the time, and it's very special to me. It's like I heard that and I was like, damn,
Mhm.
that is me. You do. I mean, I'm a picture person and I have all these pictures and I look back and I'm like, oh my God, that was so fun. But
Yeah.
like, was I being present in that moment
Yeah.
and having the fun,
Yeah.
you
Or
know,
was I worried about
or was I
my
worried about
muffin top a
how
little
I
too
looked?
obvious?
Right, right. Dress. It was the wrong dress. Should have found my other dress. Should
Right.
have put some Spanx on.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I think the picture thing is a pretty big struggle that so many people have. I went to a bachelorette party this past weekend, and like there's, bride wants pictures of everything always, which is great because like otherwise you're not going to get pictures. Nobody else is going to do this for you. And
Yeah.
I'm so glad that she was vocal about like, nope, basically every bar we left, we are taking a group picture. But like listening to some of the ladies that I was with that I didn't really know very well, and it was like, oh no, we have to retake this. That looked terrible. Like, mm,
But do you though?
oh, you're really triggering the coach in me. Like, just be like the and there
Talk nice to yourself.
there's a couple of coaches that inspire me the most of anybody on the planet. Two for sure that I know have publicly made a statement that like at one point I just decided that every picture of me was a good picture of me. And I'm not going to spend my time worrying about, in this case, which picture my publicist chooses or whatever. But like in that moment, that's what I looked like as a human person. Okay. I'm not going to worry about Photoshop to cover up any whatever it is that I
Cutting
think.
yourself out.
And like that was such a novel concept for me when I first heard it. And now it's like, yeah, I certainly have critiques about my own pictures when I look at them. And I'm also able to let that go because when I've consciously looked through, and Facebook after several years out of high school, half the class is 50 pounds heavier. And like, like I that's just kind of how it works. And you look at the pictures and you can have all these thoughts about, oh my God, this person got fat, that person got fat. Like, well, now I'm that person. Great. And also, like, I'm looking at the pictures that people are posting. I'm like, look at how happy they look.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with how many fat cells they have in their body. Like, nope, they're just enjoying their time with their family and their new daughter or their new puppy or their, vacation that they went on. I bet they had a great time.
Yeah.
And like just thinking about how much time I spent worrying about what my body looked like and what other people were thinking about it, like it's just insane to me.
Yes.
Like how much energy is put into all of that.
And it's similar to like when I think people go to the gym, or if they're not comfortable at the gym, they won't go to the gym because they're not
Mhm.
comfortable at the gym.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks that other people are watching you
Yeah.
at the gym.
Mhm.
Nobody's watching you at the gym most of the time.
And if they
They
are, it's none
they
of
are
their
thinking the same thing.
yeah, and if they are, it's none of your business what they're thinking.
What other people think of you is none of your business.
Yeah, exactly.
And I love that.
Yeah. Like
'cause it's
having
not
that confidence and comfort in your own skin is one of the most liberating things that I have learned how to do. It's a
yes,
learned skill,
it's learned,
unfortunately.
and sometimes it's fake.
Yeah. Sometimes it's a fake it till you make it sort of thing.
A big fake until you make it.
But yeah, there was I think it was a swimsuit or something that I was like, you know what? I'm just going to put this on and pretend like it's normal when I go. And I was so insecure the whole time. And not the whole time, but like starting out, I was like, well, I'm just going to, take my towel off now and lay down and see what happens. And
Here we
guess what,
go.
Katie? Guess what? Not one single person came up and told me how terrible I looked.
Nobody.
Not even
They
one.
pointed and laughed at you.
It was crazy.
Yeah. And I tell people too when they get, same, this is me talking to me as well about the number on the scale.
Yeah.
How many times does that send you into a spiral?
Yeah.
It's not tattooed on your forehead how much you weigh,
No.
and nobody cares.
And a number on a scale should not be the overriding factor of how you're feeling that day.
Exactly.
Like,
So
how
like
crazy is that?
before, think to yourself, like, before I do this, how do I want to feel about my body?
Yeah,
Because you can guarantee most of the time that you're going to, depending on what that number says, it's going to change how you feel.
for sure. And it's a good thing to practice of like before you step on the scale, you get to decide how you feel, especially if like, well, especially anytime ever you do this, but like, especially if you're on like some sort of new regimen
Mm,
or like you started changing your diet or you started moving your body more,
yeah.
you are going to have fluctuations in your weight up and down. And like sometimes within the same week, I've got like a 7 pound weight fluctuation just based
Right.
on
It can
very,
change every day.
yeah,
Or it can not
like,
change.
yep, like,
And like inches can be coming off, but that number ain't moving. And it's
right.
like, you just want to throw it out the window.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, because if that's the only marker for how happy you are with yourself and your body, like we got to throw the whole thing out and
We
start
gotta
over.
we gotta throw it out the window.
Yeah.
That's it.
Mhm.
Because it's not a healthy relationship to have with
Right. So
yourself.
that's why like as you're standing in front of your scale, you decide how do I want to feel about my body no matter what.
Mhm.
That number then just becomes data
Yep.
that you can use and make tweaks. And then there's not a bunch of mind drama that pulls you down and makes you more likely to stand in your pantry and grab whatever it is that you can grab
And
because you're
eat
not
a whole
feeling
bag
bad about the
of
number.
butter-filled pretzels.
Yeah.
They're delicious.
Yeah, exactly.
That was a
All
good that
right.
was a good little rant.
Yeah. Well, before we wrap her up for today, Katie, what are your big takeaways?
Oh, being nice to myself in
Mm,
the present moment.
yeah.
And yeah, being proud of myself. Being grateful for all the things that have got me here, and stop worrying so much about all the things I have to do and all the things I didn't do.
Right. How
First of all
inadequate.
the things I didn't do, I can't change.
Right. They didn't need to be done if they weren't
They,
done.
they weren't done, and that's
Yep.
okay.
Yep. Well, thank you for being with me here today, Katie.
This was fun.
It's been
I
a
like our
pleasure.
little unscripted.
Huh?
I liked this being unscripted because I tried to script it.
Didn't work, did it?
Didn't work. It worked out better because I don't even know what I wrote.
Thank you for taking the time to listen in today. Many of you will be able to take the ideas that you've heard and apply them in your daily life, and that's really all you need. That's amazing. But for those of you who could use a little one-on-one help with how to make these things actually work for you in your real life, please reach out. The link to schedule a consult with me is in the show notes. You don't have to do this alone. See you soon.